And we'll be live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. I am your host, Phil Robinson. With me is my man, Phil Jones. Phil, what's going on, brother?
Not much, driving like a bat out of hell to get ahead and going to with you. How you doing, bro?
We don't need to go into numbers on how fast you was traveling down said interstate, but I'm doing fantastic. We got a lot of information today, and I got some breaking news of my own to get into. So we're gonna cover Josh McDaniels' press conference at the scouting combine earlier today. What does that mean in terms of what the Raiders are gonna do moving forward? Outlining some of the plan that they have for the offseason. All that and more on the Unfiltered Truth. Stay tuned. And we're back. Real quickly before we get down, I want to invite all of our new listeners, all of the people who aren't already subscribed to the channel, to do just that. Jones and I bring you the Unfiltered Truth. We do what we do because you deserve better. There's too many narratives out there, too many people trying to spin stuff. We just give you the 100% unfiltered truth, whether you like it or not. Sometimes the truth hurts, but that's the way that we do things around here. So, I see everybody pulling into the chat. Appreciate y'all, all of our regulars. Y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get into
it. Rose, how you doing?
Let's get into it. So Josh McDaniels was live today. Went for about I think the whole thing was about 22 minutes, and he said a lot of information, and really what I've learned about this particular regime and the way they do things is that it's a lot more straightforward than people give them credit for. There's not a lot of misdirection. There's not a lot of lying and whatnot. Yeah. If you really listen to what they say, they'll tell you what it is that you need to know about what it is that they're doing. And really the omissions are what you really should be paying attention to. Just saying. But with that being said, we can get into some of the more popular things because I got them all right here.
You got all right there.
Right there written down. So let me tell you about what Josh McDaniels needs from his quarterback, and I'll allow you to respond because that's probably how it'll best go through. What he said was, when you talk about QB play, they have to get in the end zone. Ultimately, we got to win. You got to go through your processes and evaluate players that are available. They got Jarrett Stidham that they're looking at, potential free agency options, and the draft.
Sir, how many times we got to go through this? But Josh McDaniels is literally at the point where, hey, I want my own guy. I want my own quarterback that can execute in the red zone. I stand somebody that has maybe some familiarity to the offense, but then again, and I know you're going to get ready to hit on it, I don't think this offense is difficult to comprehend. I don't think it is. I think it was just difficult for somebody else. But that being said, I think you could, and if you can't bring in Jarrett Stidham, there's a quarterback that just got cut that you might be able to bring back. Just saying.
Well, there's a lot out there to work with, and we're going to get into that. But I think actually, when out of all of that, what struck me the most was the first couple of statements. When you talk about QB play, they have to get in the end zone. If your offense is leading the league in red zone field goals, there's a deficiency there that needs to be made up. When your red zone percentage conversion is as low as the Raiders have been, as it needs to be addressed. And the finality of this statement, ultimately, we got to win. It's just win, baby, around here. It's not just post up empty numbers, not just post up stats, not just get close. It's just win, baby. Ultimately, we got to win. Now, the funny thing about that is, I'll stop and I drew a parallel here because we've heard about the great things that Derek Carr does, but at the end of the day, was it helping you win football games? And that brings me back to Gruden. And when I heard him say that, I was like, isn't that the same thing Gruden said when he got rid of Khalil Mack? More or less. But when you think about it that way, it's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But to add on to the talk about quarterback, McDaniels would say this as well. We have to get good play out of that position, because if we don't, it's very difficult to win. So that's my job, and that's what we're going to focus on. This team had the league leading rusher, had nearly a top 10 offensive line, had the league leading touchdown receiving leader. I know I said leading twice, but it is what it is. And the one true deficiency that you can look at on this offense, which half of Raider Nation will point a finger at and the other half will say no way, is the consistency of the quarterback play. You're not scoring in the end zone. Your quarterback's not doing what he needs to do consistently in every game, and you're not getting good quarterback play. You're going to have difficulty winning.
No, I mean, shit. How many times? Like I said, and I don't know. It feels like I'm repeating myself.
And you are.
We've said it countless times. We've said it countless times. You're going 3 and out on a drive that's probably 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 5 or maybe 4th and inches, and you're not using your vision. Your pocket awareness is subpar. You cannot have that in this league today. Everybody said, well, we had guys like Trent Dilfer. You had guys like Tim Hasselbeck that could still do it and get to the play. That was a different age and time, and people need to understand that. This is a whole different generation of football. We can't have that same old lock in and not look to your left, look to your right, or moving around within the pocket. If you're not doing that, you're going to fail. And it showed this year. Moving, you're not looking for guys open because you're locked in on one guy, you're not going to succeed. Red zone, trying to force something in that is not there, and you got a guy that's right around the corner, that's a running back doing fucking jumping jacks, saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I'm open. It's frustrating, and you will not succeed. And it's shown 2019, 2020. To be honest, I'm going to still say 2021, even though we got off our chinny chin chin to the playoff, miracle from God. And then last year, you cannot succeed on offense. You can have all these numbers. You can be topping this, topping that. But when you're failing in the red zone, that shit means nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because if you're not getting into the end zone, you're not doing anything. Pistol Pete here says players are a lot faster and stronger since then. It's funny that you brought that up, Pete, because Josh McDaniels addressed that too, about what is needed for this team moving forward. We need tough, smart, explosive players, period. We need to do that on offense. We need to do that on defense. We need to do that in the return game. We have some good components to our roster and can build around, but we need to get tougher, smarter, and more explosive players. An explosive player on defense, and this is key for all of you listening, is a player who touches either the quarterback or the ball. So if you're looking for defenders, you want to start calculating all your draft players and what they're looking for. They're looking for defensive players who touch the ball or touch the quarterback, because if they're not doing that, they're not succeeding in this league. Period. Point blank. They need tougher, smarter, and more explosive players on both sides of the football. And so that we can get into some of the, we'll save that conversation for later. We got plenty of time, but that's what they're looking for. And that's how you get better. You got some guys who can do some things, but you need guys who are breaking through, guys who are getting home, guys who are getting to the football, disrupting passes, picking the ball off. It seems very cliche, but that's how you win football games. In short, he means playmakers. Kevin, I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you. Because the Raiders need a lot of them on defense. They need a lot of them on offense. Ooh. They got a bit on offense, but they sure need some playmakers on defense. Max needs some help. Hobbs needs some help. The whole linebacking core needs some help. The defensive line needs some help.
What else needs some help?
DBs, the corners, the safeties, the punt returner, the punt return blocking. Kickoff needs some help.
I know there's something else.
Oh, there is. But we're gonna rock with this for what right now. Their first Dubs has got the first shot on defense was with Chandler Jones. Hope he improves in season 2. Listen, bro. Conceptually, Chandler Jones is great. Conceptually. What he's one of the things that I just said, one of the things that Josh McDaniels said is they're looking for more explosive players. Explosive players touch the quarterback or touch the ball. Now, granted, he got what was that? We call that officially the fumble return for a touchdown, was what it officially was when Jacoby Myers decided he was going to lace up my man with a proper TD and hook him up fat. But short of that, Chandler Jones didn't touch the quarterback too many times. There's a couple games where he really showed up, but for the majority of the year, that's not what happened. Every level needs help, and McDaniels was quick to point out to that fact that they need to get tougher, smarter, and more explosive at every level, at every position. I mean, that was what, week 12, week 13, Jones, when Chandler started getting it going?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need Chandler to get it. Yeah, we need Chandler to get it going in week 1. But we'll get to that. Raiders, they're not lacking a leader. They got plenty of leaders. The problem is they don't have plenty of ability.
You can have a voice on defense, but you need guys that can attack to the ball carrier. A guy that's going to attack to the ball that's in the air. You can't just have like, my man, he do this, but this man is getting burnt. He's getting shaken by the 4th-string wide receiver. We can't have that shit. You need the guy that has the speed, the strength, the height, and the talent. Damn, Kevin, you like Oprah's giveaway right now, just dropping it. Look under your seats, everybody. You need talent. You need talent. You need talent.
You need the right plan. You need the proper plan. You need the proper outlook. You need to know if your coach is focused, married to his scheme, and only going to be able to coach his scheme, or is he going to be able to tailor his scheme to the abilities of his player? And that was another one of the questions that came up as people were trying to identify what exactly the Raiders are going to be looking for as they move forward, attempting to fill the quarterback position. And what he said was this: our system's going to fit the player. It's not a one. They don't have to be a specific set of traits. If they have talents that we can use in other ways, then we're going to use them. And he specifically cited the last 4 years of the different quarterbacks that he's had, from going from Tom Brady to Derek Carr to Mac Jones, and then who's the other one? Cam Newton, Jacoby Brissett. So he's shown the ability to adapt his play calling, adapt his style of offense to the talent that he has to deal with on the field. And as long as you can go out and execute the plays that he sets for you, he's putting all of his players in the best positions to make plays. Now, is it perfect? No. But is it as bad as everybody's been saying about how he can't do this? He's lost it. He don't know how to call plays. Offense sucks. All of it. Listen, let's go back one more time. Top 10, nearly a top 10 offensive line, number one leading rusher, number one yards from scrimmage leader. Said number tied for number one leader in touchdown receptions. That's not a guy who's not calling good offense. That's not a guy who's lost it. That's a guy who's not getting premium consistent execution across the board.
Well, for anybody that's running around talking about, who else could we go for a quarterback? Take Ryan Tannehill off the board. He's staying in Tennessee. Thank God. Thank God. Somebody literally came to me like, you should go after Ryan Tannehill. I said, hell, man. Yeah.
Marcus Mariota's available.
Yeah, he is.
Marcus Mariota's available. So is Carson Wentz.
Oh, so you want me to jump out the window?
Fly like a bird. Spread your wings and fly.
I mean, we all knew Payne was going to get tagged.
Mm-hmm.
You have defensive-minded coaches, one that is your head coach, and then Jack Del Rio. They're not going to give up a guy like Daron Payne.
Nope.
Let's be real here. And the value there for them, technically speaking, is first round value. They're talented. So I get it.
And to further on that, I'd offer you guys this. Remember, Dave Ziegler has already been on record stating a few times that the Raiders are not a $15 to $20 million player away from contention. If you're not a top level guy away from paying a top level money, then you keep the money and you disperse it over the salary cap and try to draft a guy that you can get in there and keep under contract for 5 years and get premium production out of that. A lot of what Raider fans and Raider Nation is used to is overzealous spending and underproduction in return. And you can't go out and spend all the money that these guys are asking for and get that level of production. There's only a few guys who get paid that much money and continue to produce at that level. Your Travis Kelce's, your Devontae Adams, a couple of your quarterbacks. But in terms of defenders, the money that they made, the production that they made in order to get that top tier contract is not going to be as good after they get that money as it was before when they were broke. Because when you starve and you doing everything, when your cup runneth over, you're enjoying the spoils of your labor. But Dalvin Tomlinson was another guy that I had pegged, but I believe that Minnesota has a deal in place or is working the deal out to finish and keep him there. So I brought up Leonard Williams' name, and a lot of people have said he's going to be 18 million, but I looked at his production and there's no way that he's
Well, the
getting
thing about it, you're gonna have to trade for him.
Are you going to have to trade for him? I thought he was going to be a cap hit.
No. I think they're going to hold on to him.
Okay.
I think the best way to go on and get rid of him, they would either trade him or they're going to end up holding on to him. I highly doubt somebody that was an impact on that defense, you get rid of him.
No.
Like I had to go around and chat with some folks with Giants media, and they're like, they said best you probably could trade up, maybe at the highest is probably about a second, third.
And at that point, you could roll the dice and take a guy from USC who does virtually the same thing, and maybe just a tad bit smaller, but would cost you a hell of a lot less with that same second round pick that you're saying it would cost to get him up from underneath the Giants. Now, as for what Pistol Pete here said about the discount double check guy, he's really good. As of the best of my knowledge, no decision has been rendered on what it is that he's done, what he's going to do after coming out of the darkness.
I mean, hey, as been stated, the longer this takes, most likely he ends up staying in Green Bay.
Really? Because I heard the opposite.
But hold on. That's all about. Hold on. Knowing Aaron Rodgers, my man is probably going to be like, taking my talents elsewhere. He likes to have that dramatic setup. So again, maybe it comes from his ex that used to be an actor, and he just picked up on some of her shit. But we don't know what we're going to get out of Aaron. If he's going to stay, we don't know if he going to just say, "F it, trade me," and they restructure his deal, try to free up some cap because they're probably going to take a hit as well as the other team. So they're probably going to try to restructure and then ship them off. That could be one thing. But in this situation right here with the Raiders, you're better off just going to get your little stopgap quarterback, veteran quarterback, and going and draft your guy. And your guy will be seen grow at the combine this week. Well, this weekend, basically.
Or will he? Because the gentleman that got the most amount of mention in the press conference was a gentleman with a shoulder injury who's slightly undersized, and size does not matter in today's QB world. That 15-20 years ago, we were all looking for the 6'4", 220, 230 pound rocket arm pocket QB to stand tall as the Statue of Liberty and deliver dime after dime and take hit after hit and get up and wow us all with his toughness. We don't do that no more.
Basically, everybody wanted their quarterback like fucking Catcher Freeman. All right.
Or Drew Bledsoe, but looking for the next Troy Aikman.
I mean, shit, we're at a time where you name two people that can't run to save their fucking lives.
I know. I did it on purpose.
You asshole.
But
No.
said, but you also hear what he said about the system being tailored to fit the player. You look at a guy like Bryce Young and all of the success that he's been able to have. And when I look at Bryce Young, I think of Russell Wilson. I think a better version of Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson was up at Wisconsin and didn't win anything. Bryce Young has been winning on the brightest stages since he was in high school. See, he's been the number one quarterback since the moment he laced up his cleats and stepped on the field, and nothing has changed. From Pop Warner to high school to being potentially QB1 coming off the draft board by a unanimous QB1. No matter how much craziness somebody will tell you about how Anthony Richardson is going to be the next coming of Jesus himself in shoulder pads and a helmet. Now, to answer your question, Ty, so knowing what we know, how do we turn the 7th pick into a premium pick QB, or do you think the guy they want will be there at 7? There's 256 people who are going to be drafted. You have the 7th overall pick. My philosophy about this and my thoughts on it are not going to change. If you can't draft a game changer at 7, then what the fuck are you doing?
Ooh. Don't sound like you doing shit, bro.
I'd say if you can't get it done at 7, you don't need to be there. Well, Nell Walker says, I'm starting to feel the steady and insert rookie QB plan more and more. That was also cited. You talk about the division. McDaniels talked about the division and how when you look at it, the Raiders had the oldest quarterback in the division. They had a quarterback who was playing like an old statuesque quarterback, standing tall in the pocket, curling up to avoid major hits, and also getting down, being a guy that operated between the 20s, but getting down to the red zone and being unable to punch the ball in and finish drives, and ultimately leading to difficulty with winning games because you were leaving points on the board. In terms of building this team and filling all of the holes in the roster, you need to maximize your salary cap. And if you are indeed looking to pay Josh Jacobs, which the Raiders are, Josh would say that he would love for Josh Jacobs to continue being a Raider, and that he knows Dave and his representative have been in contact. They're working through that process together, and that's the hope and the goal, is that he's here for a while. So now, Phil, I'll let you give your thoughts on Josh Jacobs before I give mine. So please.
I mean, shit, we heard during Super Bowl week, he said, if you get me guys that can get the job done, we're taking either a team or taking the tag. But if you want me to come in and be the hero, pay me. Pay me. In this case, it looks like the Raiders are going to be looking to get him all the pieces that can help this team succeed. You're going to get him that quarterback. Probably going to get another old lineman in free agency. Get him.
Man, don't nobody give a shit about that. They want to see them get that. He want to see him get his money. Pay that man his money, okay?
Yeah,
pay that man his money.
I'm just saying.
Quit bullshitting and pay this man his money. He earned it. It's his. He deserves it. Pay this man his money. You asked this man. This man has done everything that you asked him to do. He's been the leader that you needed. He's been the leader when somebody else was supposed to be the leader. He's been the guy that the team follows. The team has made their decision on who is their leader. His name is Joshua Jacobs. Pay this man. The coach loves this man. The general manager loves this man. Pay this man his money.
his money.
Cost of doing business. This is not the fucking bargain bin flag football league. They make
I know
millions
you
in
did.
the NFL. They make millions in the NFL. If you can't pay millions in the NFL, you shouldn't be here.
This man said bargain bin.
You know what I'm saying? The old church football, the PAL league, where everybody gets to play and don't have to put no money down, bruh. You got to pay to play.
Pay to play.
Doesn't work any other way. It hasn't. We've seen, 2 winning seasons in the last 20 years? You got to pay to play. And they paid the last time they won. They paid when they made it to the playoffs. They paid the last time they made it to the playoffs. If you do not pay, you do not play. It's as simple as that.
As simple as that, my friend.
You got to pay. Now,
get that man all the sandwiches.
So let's take a trip back down memory lane. When Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler got here, Dave Ziegler was talking about ascending young players. This year's mantra is tougher, smarter, more explosive. Dave Ziegler was on Bussin' with the Boys talking about execution in critical situations, smarter, tougher, being able to withstand all the adversity, all of the physical and mental turmoil that you got going on through the course of the season, and being able to remain focused, calm, and moving forward in order to score and produce. More explosive. You got to convert your opportunities. You have to hit your big plays when they're available, whether it be on offense, defense, or in the return game. When they got here, they thought they had a good roster. They knew they had a playoff roster. Was it perfect? No, but they knew where they needed. They had an idea of what they thought they had and what they were going to accomplish. They put it to offensively. It looked pretty close to what it was that they were supposed to be doing until you got to the inconsistency in the play of the most important position. Defensively, they were holding teams to 23, 24 points a game when they had half of their starters out there on defense. But when guys started getting hurt, when guys couldn't answer the call, you talk about tougher, your entire starting linebacking core ended up on injured reserve, all three of them. Your defensive backs. I've seen numerous times where people said that Rock Ya-Sin should be getting $10 million a year, except how many games did he miss? I don't know how you get paid $10 million on the bench.
Ooh. A lot.
Anthony Averett, IR. Everybody went on IR. And when Nate Hobbs came back from IR, he wasn't the same guy. Now, he wasn't playing the slot primarily. You got a lot of good production from Amik Robertson. You got a lot from Tyler Hall, but the rest of that was abysmal. And call it what it is. You have defensive shortcomings, defensive predictability, because the guys that you put on the field were incapable of playing anything other than a soft zone. And so we said, Mr. Stantastic here. Rock played 11 games, no interceptions. So 11 games, no interceptions, missed 6 games, and that gets you 10 million these days. If only I could get skinny and run a little faster. I bet you I could probably pull that out. Play 11
Baby.
games, play 11 games, get no picks, sit out 6 with an injury, get 10 million. It's a pretty smooth gig if you got it, considering he only made 1.6 this year, playing on the last year of his rookie deal. That's a hell of a raise for no interceptions and not a complete season. I'm not knocking him. I would like him to come back, but not at 10 million. Now for the draft, a lot of what they got going on, and Ziegler said it is they're looking to interview guys and get their complex makeup. The scouting department has scouted these guys in games, seen what they do when the bullets are flying live. They got a pretty fair idea. So this particular wave of scouting is all about the interview process and getting these guys mental and emotional makeups, how well they deal with adversity, how well they've shown that they've been able to overcome, because the National Football League is going to throw everything that these guys have ever had thrown at them and more on a week-to-week basis. And if they're able to overcome, then we will be moving in the right direction and get that consistency and production, that tougher, smarter, more explosive player that we covet. And if they're not, then once again, you end up with another guy that you've committed a bunch of resources and capital and time to that's going to take your money and end up not panning out.
Yeah.
I was in the 5.5, 6 range personally. Might go all the way up to 7.
Yeah, about 6.5, 7 mil.
I should be about where at 3 years. But if he was smart, he'd probably want to do probably 2 or 3. That would give him an opportunity to, give him a 2 with an out, and then that way he'd have an opportunity to have a prove it year, get a little raise here, put a full year under his belt, and then be able to go make big money. But that's what I would do if I was him. His representation might be telling him something different.
That tends to happen.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot going on in the league. Now, there was some other breaking news that we have to get towards now that we're done with Josh McDaniels today. What is it? You want to take this one? Because I don't remember fully what the title is, and I don't want to butcher it.
Well, if you do insist. So, Raiders senior vice president and chief of staff Marcel Reese resigned today. Now, as I've stated, Mark Davis is taking a different path to try to better his organization. He's going to let Sandra Douglas Morgan handle these responsibilities. She's already your team president. Why do I need a senior vice president on something I'm already taking care of? You understand what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is the whole friends and buddies in the front office. That's not cutting it anymore. Come to think about it, it causes a problem with your current staff and you making decisions. You have somebody by your side trying to play a hand in your decision making where you already have someone you've hired to handle this shit. You already have a general manager to handle this shit. Don't go down the path. And this is what's happening. He's not going down that path. He's going to let this team run like an organization should be running. And the other thing is, there seems to have been some conflict maybe, well, shit, it's unfiltered truth.
Conflict.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
Let it be known. Nobody else will.
He wanted a Derek Carr as the quarterback. He had a problem with McDaniels. But when you have somebody right there in a high position like that has a problem with the moves that are being made, oh, that can be a major clusterfuck, because that's what we had happen in 2018 when you had McKenzie staff mixed up with John Gruden stuff. That was a whole big what the fuck. And what's going to continue to happen, and we've seen bits and pieces of it, they're moving on from guys that are from the old. If it came from Gruden, if it came from years ago, they're gone. You can't mix old staff with new. Ziegler and them, they're going to want their own guys. If I want my own quarterback, I'm cards gone. If I want my own head scout, guess what? Douglas and them, they gone. We got a team president. Hey, Sandra Douglas already handling it, so I can't have Marcel Reese right here. Not gonna fire him. I got love for him, respect for him. Hence why he probably did the resigning. But hey, if anybody wants to see change and see this team move forward in the right direction, you have to let everybody do their job. It's that simple.
Do their job.
Now, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that got a problem with it. I mean, that's life. The truth hurts. You know, there were some things and some chatter that I saw that could have possibly happened with Marcel, but at the end of the day, you got to run your team the correct way as a business, because I'm going to tell you this, what's getting ready to happen, and it's not just with us, was about to shake the league, coming back to Snyder shit, is why they're trying to get shit. Is another reason why I'm going to say they're trying to make sure shit is in order. Mm-hmm. Because if one head is about to roll, there are going to be a few more, and you do not want to be on that chopping list.
No.
You know, folks like New York Times, the Post, they get a hand at it, they chopping down. So again, have your organization running the correct way for stability and for CYA cover your ass.
Because there's a lot of dirty stuff that's coming down the pipeline.
Ooh, them dirty draws are coming out.
Strap in and keep the soap handy, because it's about to get messy up in here. Dirty Dan is about to go down and is trying to find the golden parachute, and the rest of the owners are about to throw him off the side of the cliff, and he's going to try to drag some people down with him.
Mm-hmm. That's why they trying to get this damn, I don't know, they're trying to get that damn vote ready.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
he's put him at a bad position, because now Rodgers been implicated, has continued to be implicated in the misconduct of the NFL, and continues, and his fingerprints, the paper trail is coming back to him.
Oh yeah, when you thought you shredded everything, when you thought you got rid of everything just because you're a private organization, there's always a paper trail coming back for your ass. May not be at that point in time, but it's gonna come back out later.
Because somebody else kept their paper trail to cover their ass, not yours.
Exactly.
So things don't ever disappear the way that you think they will. But so that with that, the 55 million and what was it, loans that need to be investigated?
Yeah, loans.
Under the rug.
Yo, he's selling. He got
money
to sell
now.
his jets. He got to sell his private jets.
Yes, we talking about money.
Hey, nah, bro, they about to get that nigga Michael Blackson up there. Like, hey, we here to repo your shit.
Airplane repo. That would be. You know what I want to see? I want to see the boat repo.
Daniel Spencer, we are here to repo your shit. You cheap ass motherfucker.
I would love to see somebody start repoing yachts. That would be awesome.
Hey, yo.
That would be awesome.
I die off of that shit, yo.
or pull a cat. What's his name? Old boy from what was it? Captain Phillips. I'm the captain now.
I told you, bro. You just need to get Michael Blackson black ass and have him just repo that shit. That shit is. What do you think about trading back and selecting Witherspoon out of Illinois? I like Witherspoon, but there are more DBs that are not being talked about that are slightly better. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I got 3 guys.
3.
I did a little Aaron Rodgers retreat. I retreated into darkness in the dark room and put together my 25 guys.
I was wondering why you needed extra lighting.
Hey, look, bro. You see things, man.
Change it.
You see them, man. You see them. But the thing of it is, there are other guys besides Witherspoon. I do love Witherspoon. Be wrong. Because, and yeah, I know. Skinner popped this fucking pectoral. That shit had me pissed. I'm like, damn. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He could drop down to the 3rd or maybe 4th. Who knows? Who knows how the draft board's going to change and go up and down? Because Skinner was a guy that I was like, shit, we can go and grab him. But then again, I'm not going to say who I really want in my secondary. I'm not going to say it, Kenneth, because
you won't bring it out of me. And
he can cover tight ends and wide receivers.
Yeah. I'll send you back to the shadow realm, Kenneth. You better keep it under wraps.
You don't say it loud, my friend.
Everybody's watching. Trust me. It came as a shock to us too. But oh, man, trading back is a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. There's too many needs on this team for you to be trade. They have 11 draft picks already. You don't need to trade back. You need to trade up. Now, if you don't want to trade higher than 7,
and the multiple 5th round picks that you have, like you had the year before, you can trade up. We could probably have 2 4 picks. Maybe 1 picks could be another 3rd round pick. It's all in how you move the pieces on the board. That's it. Mm-hmm. And we saw what Dave Ziegler did last year. He did some moves and it was solid. But now you got more to play with. The problem at the end of the day, what happened with this past season, and I didn't get a chance to really say, you tried to mix the old with the new. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the way to go. They thought that, hey, let's try to keep this guy. Let's try to roll with that guy. It didn't work. It didn't get the results that we were looking for. So with the new staff, you want the players that you damn sure know that can do the job. You want the players that you know that can be consistent and give you the results on the field. Because there's some guys like, hey, you know, we may have saw it with such and such under that staff, but he ain't going to do the same thing. And everybody has to understand there's certain players that are not going to respond the way they responded to that coach. It shouldn't. I mean, to be honest, it shouldn't be like that because you're here to do a job. But at the end of the day, it tends to play out that way. All right?
No, I get it. Appreciate you, Rob. I would do it the other way, KB. To be honest with you, the offense is pretty much set. The pieces that you need a couple pieces out of the draft.
No. He throwing a mind trick on. He doing a mind trick. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So I give you guys a couple more minutes to get your some more fresh questions in. Pedro said the Commanders having a fire sale. They can't pay all those defensive linemen. They're damn sure gonna try. If I recall, did they re-up Sweat?
Yeah.
They did re-up Sweat? Okay.
Yeah.
So that no, then Payne would be the only one they have left to pay, right?
That's why they got the tag on him. It gives you another year.
Chase Young comes up next year.
See, that is where it gets interesting at because you haven't really had Chase Young for like what? A total of what? How many games? Maybe about what, like 10 games? So it's kind of rough, man. It's kind of rough to just kind of figure out where they exactly go. I mean, right now they have what, 17 million cap space right now. So
they got 27 games out of Chase Young in 3 years.
Mm-hmm. They really paying Curtis Samuel $13 million. Ew. That's some overpaying shit.
Now the better question is Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler taking him? Because my answer to that question may be different from theirs.
Sir, no. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. Because to be honest, I mean, the only guy, I mean, you could probably snag from them. But again, I just don't see it. Like,
they're taking them. They're taking them. They're taking
No, I don't see it.
11. They're gonna do it. Just trust me on this, bro. They're taking them. They want Will Levis bad.
If they draft hold on, who the fuck want who said they want Will Levis? Who said they want Will Levis?
Just go with me. Just go with me. That's the guy. Somebody should trade up and take Will Levis before the Raiders can get him.
If you want him,
that's who wants
I will give you his favorite cup of coffee with mayonnaise, and I'm gonna make sure you drink it all up.
And I'll love it. He'll love it. It'll be all about. That's how he'll get that fuel, the fire to give him the strength to do what he needs to do.
Go on, drink that. You know, fantastic. We're gonna make sure you get that mayo coffee.
The Tyree Wilson defensive end out of Texas Tech. So how do I feel about him? I like what he has to work with. I like the size. I like how they bring him around and stunt him in different areas to the pocket to stress the offensive line. The reality of how do I feel about that is that he will not be available when they make their second pick. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bryce Christopher Young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bobby
Premier.
Wagner.
Well, that's not a surprise. I'm actually, given the fact that somebody's already torn a pec, I'm surprised he did that. You know how these guys are. Nobody's doing anything but interviewing. Anybody who's a real player is doing anything but interviewing at the combine. They're not doing anything to risk draft status, draft stock, and potential money. Aside from at the pro day, which will be a controlled set of circumstances set by them. Thoughts for trading on Rams? Thoughts on trading for Ramsey? Yes or no? If he's willing to restructure his deal, it depends on what it's going to cost him. Is it worth a second? It could be, very well could be. Is it worth a third and a couple other picks? Absolutely. Is it worth the first? My answer will be no. Bobby Wagner is a future Raider. Who says no? I do. He's going to cost too much money. He's getting up there in age. He's going to cost too much money, and he didn't exactly do a whole lot for the Rams. Twan, I see you. Pray for a Will Anderson slide. The Chicago Bears have the first pick in the draft, and they've made it clear they are not selecting a quarterback. That means that unless somebody trades them out of there, it's either going to be Will Anderson or Jalen Carter out. And I don't believe Houston is drafting a quarterback. So they will pick whoever it is that the Bears don't pick. It's my honest opinion, because if they do trade back, it's very likely that they will not have the opportunity to draft either of those guys. Likelihood of Marcus Peters joining the squad. There were some conversations about that. Excuse me, let me walk that back. I've heard there is some interest in doing so. D. Maurice Smith already said Combine is a slave auction. Prospects not wanting to come to Mobile. NFLPA and Shrine game growing.
There's been chatter, yeah.
Levante David is damn would love an alpha dog like him on our team. Got to get younger than that. He's gonna cost you $8 million and be 32, going 33 years old. I respect his game. I respect what he's done. I respect the player that he is.
You might be able to snag him for about 6.5 or 7. The other thing was KB. I looked at oh boy, you wanted me to look at. I'm not going to say his name out loud, and I don't want you to say his name out loud. He just needs to make sure he doesn't act like Aldon Smith.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got it. He's got the motor.
Got to make sure you keep your head on straight.
He's a violent defender, but I'm gonna tell you this: have control. That's it. You know how these damn refs be with our asses.
And it does not look like roughing the passer is going to be a reviewable call unless something happens drastically with the competition committee in the next day or two. Raiders get bargain bin Luan, Levante, and Hargraves. Listen, Taylor Luan is on the record saying if he could play with Will Compton, that he would take the veteran minimum. I will sign them both for the veteran minimums. Just to get them in here for that cheap.
Look, My only thing, like I said, my only thing is this. I got to know 100% that knee is good to go. I
Personally, I
need to
think
know that there's not going to be no early setbacks with that. Because again, 2020, you tore that ACL. Now, this past season, you dealt with a sore knee that kept you out basically the entire season. So, and Kenneth, all right, that's good to hear. I might want to try to get in contact with him.
no, we can definitely see what's going on and see if we can make that happen. Pedro, listen, the tougher, smarter, more explosive. That does not reach. He does not hit the criteria at the end of it. So that in fact that's that I would argue that's probably been the biggest detractor as to why he didn't hit where you and I thought he could get to, is that the explosive factor has been a just no good at all. It's just not there. And Champ Kelly's supposed to be able to bring in linebackers, so I'm waiting to see him do his thing as well. I'm looking at you, Champ. We need some linebackers, Champ, some explosive playmakers. This position has been devoid of talent for years, decades. We need linebackers.
Again, Phil, I'm going to say it again. When you don't mix what you had coming into this organization, that wouldn't have been a problem. Okay? Your scouts that you have, because I'm going to tell you, you have specific scouts, okay? For your quarterbacks, for your running backs. You're going to have some of them scouting certain regions and whatnot. And then you're going to have scouts that are looking for defensive linebackers and all that shit. So whoever was there, they gone now. All right? Champ Kelly, you got to also remember when Champ Kelly came in, he came in like literally in a short time frame. Because he came in and I saw him day 3? Yeah, I say about day 3 of the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that was a short time frame from then. And then you got to get ready for free agency and then draft. You want to be set up where you like, okay, I already had early eyes on this guy. So that, okay, he can fit with this guy's defense. So, that being said, I think we're going to be good this year.
Absolutely.
And not an overreaction.
Absolutely. Not only that, but they believe they're going to be good. And we can wrap it up with this particular a little bit with this. And this is what Josh McDaniels had to say about his relationship with Dave Ziegler. Dave is a great partner for me and super well prepared, really ahead in terms of what's coming next in our calendar year. When I ask a question, Dave has the answer. Dave has a plan, has the answers, knows what it is that he wants to do, knows what it is that he needs to do now that he's had a full year under his belt to see what it was that he thought versus the reality of what it is.
Yeah.
There's going to be changes. There's going to be growing pains as they make these adjustments and fine tune what it is that they need to do in order to get the process of this organization running smoothly and at full speed. Now that's an interesting question, Pedro. That's the first time I've even thought of that. Do Raiders have an on with Lil Mac due to Champ Kelly connection? Maybe. I don't know. Some food for thought.
Yeah.
Definitely food for thought. Announcements before we get out of here. I've got a few big ones. So I've got to lock down the exact time, but at the end of the week, hopefully on Friday, I am going to be interviewing Charles Young, 1973 runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year, the tight end wide receiver hybrid that the Eagles drafted and was a three-time All-Pro before eventually being traded to Los Angeles for Ron Jaworski. So I met Charlie at the Super Bowl when I was out there in Phoenix and really hit it off. And so he's got a few stories to tell. And I really look forward to that. It's going to be a really great interview. Charlie was a great guy, really engaging and cool as all get out for an old guy. We walked in there with a big ass stick and nobody said anything to him. Now you got to remember, this dude's about 6'5". So when you see him walking in with a big ass walking stick and nobody saying anything to him, it's like, who's this guy? He's clearly somebody. But so keep it. I'm gonna launch that earlier, get that time locked in, and then I'll start advertising it later this week, probably in the next day or two. And most importantly, so one of my side projects, things I've been working at with a couple of my guys, Cade and Tone, is the Combat Lounge. And the Combat Lounge has been approved to cover our first event as the Combat Lounge, which is Bellator 292 Usman Nurmagomedov versus Benson Henderson in San Jose on March 10th. So that is something that we are extremely excited about. The Combat Lounge is under the Unfiltered umbrella, and so we are continuing to do more and more things, move forward. And we just ask that once again, if you're new to this page, new to the Combat Lounge, new to the Unfiltered Truth, go ahead, give us a subscription, hit the donation page underneath so that we can continue to bring you premium coverage at premium events and tell you everything that you need to know about sports and life going forward. You got anything to add, Jones?
All I can say is subscribe, and then on my Twitter,
We weren't done yet. Phil caught Phil in the middle of his.
God damn, boy, you cut me up. You trying to cut me like a damn church service, boy. What the fuck? Hey,
I gotta go to the bathroom. No.
Hey, just to give you guys a heads up, on my Twitter page, I'll be having subscriptions. So if you guys want to go and subscribe, I will be giving you guys up-to-date news with the Raiders, thing going around the league. If you want that information first, go and subscribe to Phil Jones. This is also a part of the Unfiltered Truth. And our After Dark, we will be dropping some heavy shit coming soon.
There it is. Thank you for tuning
now y'all
in.
Can go.
In the middle of your day, we appreciate y'all. Everybody have a good one and God bless.